citizens of the Nigelverse. My name is Morpheus, and I am here to show you a world, a different world than the one you're used to. I'm here to show you the Matrix. Now, Nigel has recently visited the Matrix and is here to provide his analysis of it, a review, if you will. But I am here to offer you a choice that is completely within your rights. I'm not offering you anything concrete. All I can offer you is the truth. If you take the blue pill, the review ends, and you wake up believing what you want to believe. However, if you take the red pill, well, then you enter into the world of the review of the Matrix. Remember, all I offer is the truth. Here you are. Wise choice. Now, be prepared to experience the review of the Matrix. Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another movie review, specifically the first movie review of the year 2025. And now, this is a franchise I've wanted to review for a while, and this is a review I've wanted to get out for like a month now, but I kept putting it off. But finally, we are here. It is finally time to enter the Matrix. So, I am of course talking about the Matrix, the first in the almost a trilogy, but the quadrilogy, as the Matrix Revelations came out a couple years ago. Or Matrix Resurrections, I should say, came out a few years ago. But we're going to be reviewing the series in its entirety throughout 2025. Now, of course, as always, I am not a professional movie reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I definitely had a really good time. Now, because it took me quite a bit to hit this review out, so much so that I felt like it was well past when I watched the movie versus having the review here and now. I figured, screw it, I'll just watch the movie again. So that's exactly what I did earlier today. Technically, by today I mean Sunday, because I'm recording this Sunday night. But I rewatched the movie, so we're going to get into the movie. So if you've seen these reviews of mine before, I know it's been a little while since we've done a movie review for the channel, but if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the movie, as well as providing a little bit of a plot summary. So let's get into the plot summary. And there we go. If I cannot botch the water going in, thank you. So we find ourselves in 1999, in the year 1999, the same year this movie came out. But we find ourselves with Thomas Anderson, and who by day works for a software engineer, but by night he is the hacker known as Neo. He is apprehended. First, actually, let's back up a little bit. So, he goes to the nightclub. He's told by his computer. The computer speaks to him, and by computer I mean Trinity, who we actually start off the movie with. Neo comes a little bit later on, but we start off with Trinity, who's running from the agent, more specifically Agent Smith. And she runs away. She's almost killed by a garbage truck. Man, what is it with movies back then and garbage trucks? Because we saw something similar in Terminator 2, but obviously the Terminator series we're gonna review at some point. But so she manages to escape the agents and the police custody, but she's obviously in contact with Morpheus, who is someone that Neo has been seeking for quite some time to learn more about the mystery of the Matrix. But Neo is communicating with Trinity via his computer, not unlike when 50 Cent learned that Floyd Mayweather had F him. If you remember that meme, that's a while ago meme. So kind of showing my age a little bit, but yeah. So Neo is apprehended at work by the agents, including Agent Smith. If he tries to escape, he hits a phone in a package by Morpheus, and he tries to guide him into escaping and eluding capture. But admittedly, it's a pretty dangerous getaway, including having Neo go onto some scaffolding. Neo says screw that and is taken in by the police. He's by the agents, I should say. So the agents, and they talk to Neo. They pretty much know all about his history, all about his involvement with hacking and everything, both his regular life as Thomas Anderson and his hacker life as Neo. They've been observing him from quite some time, which Morpheus has told him about. But Neo is uncooperative. They say that they will pretty much expunge his record if he's willing to help them and willing to lead them to Morpheus. Neo pretty much refuses. So they decide that and in fact Agent Smith's exact words are, "You're going to help us," and I don't mean exact words, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but pretty much, "You're going to help us whether you want to or not." So, they have him first. There's Agent Smith pretty much seals Neo's mouth shut. They gave him the Deadpool treatment from X-Men Origins Wolverine, but they seal his mouth shut and then implant a robotic kind of tracker device in his belly button, and it goes into his belly button. And I can't lie, we're going to talk more about like the CG and stuff like that when we get to likes and dislikes, but that thing looks freaking creepy. Like, if that thing goes in my belly button, I'm not gonna be too happy about that. And you know what, I can't lie, if they said they were gonna plant something like that in my belly button because I'm not cooperating, I pretty much am singing like a hummingbird. I will tell you whatever you need to know. Just do not put that thing in my belly button. But nevertheless, that's gonna be taken out of context, I'm sure, at some point. But nevertheless, Neo awakens and he thinks it's a dream. I'm surprised he doesn't feel it moving around in there. But he does meet up with Trinity and some of the other allies of Morpheus and everything, and they pretty much get the device out of his belly button, and Neo freaks out because he realizes it's no dream. This is indeed real, which hey, I'd be freaking out as well. Again, back to that, like, this thing, no. But Neo is brought to Morpheus, and Neo, although Neo has been looking to Morpheus, looking for Morpheus, I should say, for answers about the Matrix. It turns out Morpheus is also looking for Neo. We'll learn more about that later, but he does offer him a choice, not unlike the one for the bit I just did. Yes, I bought the sunglasses just for that bit. Yes, I also bought the Jolly Ranchers just for that bit. And yes, my dad's leather jacket was heavier than I thought it would be, but I still hope you enjoyed nevertheless. But Neo was offered the choice. The blue pill means he wakes up and just goes about his normal life, living in the Matrix. But the red pill means he delves into the Matrix and pretty much uncovers the secrets. And of course, Neo opts to take the red pill. So Neo, from there, everything starts feeling funny. His reality is distorted. He puts his hand into the mirror, and the silver stuff from the mirror kind of goes all over his body, not unlike the symbiote from Spider-Man. But he then wakes up, pretty much being in a way birthed ? Or in a mechanical pod, pretty much outside of the Matrix. He has a bunch of cables in him kind of not gonna lie, like the kind of port in the back of his head like the wires and stuff all throughout his body. It does look pretty creepy. But the like port in the back of his head, it kind of reminds me of the Valve logo, but the old Valve logo. I don't know if that's still their logo, Valve Games, but nevertheless, as I'm looking that up right now, but nevertheless, Neo is quote unquote birthed in a way. He sees a bunch of other he sees a bunch of other people in pods, them being asleep. So it looks like it's still kind of their logo. They also have like the red one, but nevertheless, I digress. There's one coming out of somebody's eye. That's somehow even creepier than the back of the head. But nevertheless, so Neo sees a bunch of people, but he comes out of his pod, a machine, pretty much grabs him and he goes down kind of like a fun looking water slide kind of thing, and he winds up being rescued by Morpheus and his ship and everything. The he pronounced it the Nebuchadnezzar, but I think it's supposed to be pronounced but I've always heard it pronounced as Nebuchadnezzar. So I'm not entirely sure. Let me know the exact pronunciation of that. And I'm willing to trust Morpheus on this one, but nevertheless, Neo is taken and does wake up in the Nebuchadnezzar. Morpheus kind of explains everything of what's going on. He reveals that is not $19.99, is in fact $21.99. And I imagine if it was $20.99, it might have ran afoul of Marvel. And Marvel does tend to sue sometimes, but nevertheless, Morpheus pretty much breaks down what happened, and humanity created AI, and pretty much went to war with it. And that left the Earth as a war zone, essentially a ruin, if you will, and humans blacken the sky, and in order to stop the machines using solar power, and so the AI, the machines, what have you, created artificially grown humans to harness bioelectric energy. The Matrix is pretty much a simulation of human civilization, and where they keep a lot of these humans, and the ones who were freed from the Matrix find refuge in Zion, which is pretty much like supposed to be like a safe haven, if you will, where the existence is pretty tough, as they have the scarce resources, but Orpheus and his crew are able to hack into the Matrix, so that they're able to free others, which is what they did with Neo, essentially. However, they also have to battle the agents, such as Agent Smith, who are sentient programs who protect the Matrix. And if you die in the Matrix, you die for real. And pretty much, Morpheus has freed Neo because he believes him to be the one. No, not the one Billy Gunn, but the one who is a prophesied figure destined to dismantle the Matrix and liberate humanity. So pretty much going based off how it's laid out in the wiki here. It's kind of told over the series of several moments, hence they kind of hit you with it all at once, and that is a lot to take it in. Kind of a similar concept to other kind of sci-fi tropes and everything, but also AI potentially being a problem for humanity. Where have I heard that recently? But we're gonna get into that more later on. And Neo pretty much has a reaction, and a lot of people would probably have in this case, and probably kind of freaks out a little bit because that is a lot of info to be told, essentially. But Neo, you can't return now. You already took the red pill. But Neo pretty much causes him to throw up. But Neo is now within now outside of the Matrix and with Morpheus and his crew, who Neo is trained in kung fu, or jujitsu, I should say. He says he knows kung fu, but it's more so jujitsu, and they have like kind of training programs. If only learning jujitsu was that easy. But several different training programs. Him to kind of learn and download information, but the crew is on their way to meet the Oracle, who kind of tells those who kind of tells people's futures, as an Oracle usually does. But she's also the one who predicted the one. So Morpheus is essentially taking Neo to see the Oracle to see if he indeed is the one. But they get there. Turns out how to Neo is not the one, at least according to the Oracle. But she also does warn Neo of something that will happen where he'll have to decide between his life and Morpheus's. So pay attention to that. And admittedly, this is a pretty cool scene, including the famous "There is no spoon," with all the other like kind of people in kind of the waiting room area who have different cool abilities and everything. Not quite the X-Men, but I'm sure the parallels are there. But Neo wants to tell Morpheus about what happened, but Morpheus says, that information that the Oracle told you is for you and you alone. But they are then taken out. Or not taken out, at least not fully, but the crew that being, I should go over the crew because as they are introduced earlier in the movie. There's Morpheus, there's Trinity, who we saw earlier in the movie. There's Cypher, who was also freed by Morpheus. There's Tank, who is kind of the operator. They aren't artificial humans like the other humans in the Matrix. They are naturally born humans. And then there's Tank's brother Dozer. Get it? Tank Dozer. Okay. And then there's Mouse. So this is kind of the programmer. Tank's kind of the in a way man in the chair, and Dozer is the pilot of the Nebuchadnezzar. Then there's also APOC and Switch, who are also crew members. Their roles aren't quite as defined, unfortunately. But lo and behold, Cypher betrays the group, who pretty much because, and they kind of lay the seeds of it. But ultimately he betrays them to Agent Smith and the other agents, which is why they're pursuing them. I'm saying that he took the red pill. He's now he's now outside the Matrix, but he essentially wants to go back into the Matrix. He was liberated with the truth and everything, but he wants to go back into his bondage. Essentially, there is commentary there. I'm kind of avoiding bringing it up, but nevertheless, Cypher betrays the crew, who pretty much sells out Morpheus, who is taken by the agents. He's brought out of the Matrix by Tank, and the way they go in and out of the Matrix is pretty cool, using the different phones and everything. And by phones I mean like actual kind of landline phones, like phone booth, who then traditional telephones, not quite the cell phones, although that would be very much convenient. We'll see if they have them in the later installments, but nevertheless, as Cypher takes out the rest of the crew, who he takes out Tank at first, then he kills Dozer, he kills APOC, he kills Switch. He's taking too much time monologuing, though, pretty much describing why he did hit it to Trinity specifically. But before he can kill Neo, I imagine he was saving Trinity for last. Before he can kill Neo, and Cypher kind of screws himself with the irony, saying it'll take a miracle for the others who are technically still trapped in the Matrix, aside from Tank and Dozer. But Tank and Dozer are dead. it'll take a miracle for Neo to be saved, because Neo is apparently the one kind of mocking Morpheus. But turns out Tank is still alive, and he shoots Cypher, kills him, and brings Neo and Trinity out of the Matrix. But there's a problem. Now the agents have Morpheus. They're going to pry into his brain and get Zion's mainframe, the codes for all the computers, or I should say all the codes for the different ships and everything, including Morpheus's own, so that they can end the human resistance and stop end the war with the humans. But Neo decides he's going back in to save him and Trinity, he says she's going with him, and they go in, and probably probably some of the coolest scenes is the action and gun scene. Yes. As they take out the cops, they fight off the agents. And Trinity even gets a program to pilot a helicopter, but they take out the cops and everything. And Neo dodges the bullet, hits in the cool motion that's been memed to death, kinda. But it's funny that that's become such kind of like a meme or something like that, had or like a cool moment, memorable moment of the movie of Neo like doing like this and everything, and pretty much playing the world's deadliest game of limbo to avoid the bullets. But two of the bullets still hit him. But Trinity is impressed because he is able to move like the agent. And the agents are kind of in the realm of like the Terminators, like the T-1000, and more specifically, from like the Terminator series. That's the second Terminator reference I made without having seen any of the movies, but. They are able to rescue Morpheus, and they're about to head back, but Neo is stuck behind because Agent Smith intercepts him. He fights off Smith. It does kill him at first by throwing him into the train tracks. I'm tempted to make a Spider-Man 3 joke, but I've already made, I think, like 2 Spider-Man references already, and Emily is getting kind of excessive. But nevertheless, Smith goes into a new body. He does follow Neo, and kills him as he's about to go through the phone and enter outside and go back out of the Matrix. But in the meantime, this is kind of happening counter to what's going on in the actual Matrix itself. The Sentinels, they are attacking the Nebuchadnezzar. They were seeking them earlier in the movie before they went to visit the Oracle, but they were silent, so the Sentinels couldn't find them. But this time the Sentinels are coming after them, and they have to fire an EMP, but they have to wait until Neo is out of the Matrix first. But Neo, sure enough, is killed. He's killed by Agent Smith. And Trinity, pretty much confesses what the Oracle told her, that she would fall in love with the one, more specifically fall in love with a dead man. And Trinity pretty much kisses Neo, which revives him. It's pretty much like reverse Snow White up in this piece. Which it's right off the bat. Now that I made that reference, I'm gonna say here now. Am I gonna watch the new Snow White movie? Probably not. I'm not entirely. Admittedly, I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm probably not gonna see it in theaters, but nevertheless, as Neo is revived and pretty much becomes able to fully control the Matrix, and pretty much gets all kinds of powers, including in slowing down the bullets. So, Morpheus's prophecy does come true. Who kind of Neo is indeed the one, and Neo indeed he doesn't have to dodge the bullet. It's because he is ready, and so Neo destroys Agent Smith, enters his body. That's what you get for that robot that went to his belly button. That's Neo's revenge there. The other agents pretty much run off after that, because I guess they don't get paid enough to deal with stuff like that. And Neo hits the Matrix and goes back to the real world. And And just in time, for them to activate the EMP to destroy the Sentinels. The movie does conclude with Neo communicating with the system and promises to pretty much show the rest of the world the truth of the Matrix, show them a world of limitless possibilities. And they fly off into the air as freaking Rage Against the Machine plays. Hell yeah! So that is pretty much the summary of the movie, and that was quite a bit. So, in terms of what I liked and disliked about the movie, starting with what I liked, the movie has a lot of really cool, interesting ideas. It's kind of the sense of world building is really interesting, having and essentially telling this story of the two separate worlds, the quote unquote Matrix, which is our real world, and the real world of outside the Matrix. So the way that was built upon and the way that was presented was pretty cool. Keanu Reeves as Neo. Now, famously, this role of Keanu Reeves was supposed to go to Will Smith, and I'm going to read the excerpt from the wiki here. Let's see. I want to make sure I have it here. Actually, there's two excerpts, so I'm gonna read this one first. So it says, Will Smith turned down the role of Neo to make Wild Wild West because of skepticism over the film's ambitious bullet time special effects. He later stated that he was not mature enough as an actor at the time, and that if given the role, he would have messed it up. And Smith praises Reeves for his portrayal. And apparently Nicolas Cage was also in talks to be Neo for this movie. Now, if Nicolas Cage was in this movie, it definitely would have been interesting for different reasons for it. But I also want to read this other excerpt here. There was a second one. I think. Hang on one second. We're kind of going off script a little bit here. Okay. Here it is. Excuse me. So it says, in 1996, the Wachowskis pitched the role of Neo to Will Smith. Smith explained on his YouTube channel that the idea was for him to be Neo, while Morpheus was to be played by Val Kilmer. He later explained that he did not quite understand the concept, and he turned down the role to instead film Wild Wild West. And apparently Madonna also turned down an undisclosed role, a decision she would later regret. So I imagine Madonna probably would have been either probably one of the crew, maybe the Oracle. But Will Smith not being in the role, I kind of get it. But at the same time, a part of me would like to see that. And Will Smith would go on to do some more, he did a lot of comedies as well. The Wild Wild West was a comedy movie as well, but he also did some serious roles from time to time as well, such as Ali, Pursuit of Happiness. Those are two major ones I can think of, or I Am Legend and stuff like that. And he does have something kind of similar with iRobot. It's been ages since I've seen that movie. But that being said, Keanu Reeves, I think, does a really good job in this role. Well, now, a lot of fans and stuff have said that this role definitely seemed a bit more suited towards Keanu, and I'm kind of inclined to agree. The way it was presented in the movie, I think Keanu definitely does fit the role and everything, and admittedly, some the dryness of his wit and everything, and I think does kind of add in a way to the movie. I know it almost seems kind of oxymoronic, but I think it does kind of add to the movie a little bit. And having Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, I think he also did really well. But I can also see turning something down while not totally understanding what it's about. Because theoretically, as an actor, I imagine you want to understand the role you're playing as well as you can, and if you don't really understand it, well, that's the time to ask questions. But also, you don't necessarily want to flub it or give a kind of half-hearted attempt at it because you're not really fully on board with it, if that makes any sense. But still, I think Keanu did really well. The action was pretty cool. Well, some of that like late '90s, he's kind of into early 2000s, even though we're not in the 2000s yet. Kind of some of that cheese on there, but it was still really cool, especially with, like, the effects and everything. And Agent Smith, as like the main antagonist, was pretty cool. Well, kind of walking the kind of tightrope between being full on kind of machine like, but also having and kind of some wit as well. And seeing him chase down on our protagonist throughout the movie was pretty cool to see as well. And I think of all the movies of, like, at the time, I'm admittedly the commentary on, like, AI and everything, and it does kind of delve into the scary AI kind of thing, but it's also and I made the comment while I was doing the movie summary, is kind of apt to our society nowadays. A lot of people are concerned about AI and its possibilities, its capabilities, and how it will be used in the future. And so, having something like this from over 20 years ago, over 25 years ago, because last year was actually the 25th anniversary. So I guess it would have made sense to review it last year, but better late than never. But seeing the commentary and then seeing how things are, or it seems very apt and very interesting in that regard. In terms of what I didn't quite like, I do feel like some of the acting did fall flat a little bit. Some of the effects did also look a little bit strange as well. But it's kind of a product of its time, so I can't really hate on it too much. But also, Cypher's turn, I feel like there was a little bit more they could have did with it. It feels like there wasn't like the seeds are planted there for Cypher and his turn and him turning on the crew and everything, but I wish they did a little bit more with it. It feels like more could have been done with his character, with his motives. It almost feels a little one-dimensional for his motives, that being to get back into the Matrix. And he kind of does explain why he has the little monologue and everything, but I wish they did a little bit more with his character. I want to kind of see them explore it a little bit more. Sadly, he didn't quite get enough, at least in my opinion, and I want to see a little bit more. Like I said, they hint at it through the movie, especially with the conversations he has with Neo about him regretting taking the red pill, being in the Matrix and everything. But I wish they did a little bit more with it. But nevertheless, it's still pretty fun on first foray for the Matrix. So can't wait to see what they do with the subsequent sequels once we get there. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Excuse me, I hope you enjoyed. Also, lest we forget, something I did want to mention, kind of the red pill rabbit hole, and kind of like the alpha male and stuff rabbit hole that is kind of associated with this movie in culture and later on years. There's admittedly stuff like that is kind of cringe at times, and it has sparked some debates with people. Are we truly living in a simulation? Like, does everything around us kind of feel simulated? Do things feel almost artificial, like they're programmed to happen a certain way? Admittedly, that might be that's a kind of a heavy topic, and that's something that's probably more appropriate for a different time to discuss. But there is some stuff of, I don't want to say interest, but I think there is some stuff to discuss when it comes to that. Admittedly, I don't have all the answers. I'm not entirely sure, but it is interesting to think about and to talk about. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you never miss an upload. and let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the movie, my review of the movie. Do you like The Matrix? Do you like my review of The Matrix? Let me know. It's probably going to be a couple weeks before we do the next movie, that being The Matrix Reloaded, but I will see you then when it comes to that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.